everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Osareme, and in today's video we are going to be cutting and sewing a simple turtleneck line, and I'm going to show you guys how to go about it so that you avoid the neckline being too wide and avoid it having some form of gaping. In my next tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how I went about the full dress. It's a full dress tutorial, but I wanted to separate this neckline so that I will show you guys in details how I went about the neckline, that it's looking very perfect like this. If this is something you're interested in, keep on watching and let us get started. So guys, when it comes to making a turtleneck line, one thing I've come to notice from practicing over time is that the regular 3 inches width and 3 inches depth for neckline doesn't mostly work because it ends up being too deep. Now, when your turtleneck line is too deep, it's not going to give that tight effect that you want to have when you put on your dress. You will notice that the turtleneck is not sitting perfectly. That's because the neckline is too wide. Now, while I was trying to practice this particular tutorial, I decided that for this neckline, I did 2.5 inches on both sides, and that was what I used to cut this out. So for the neck depth, I had 2.5 inches, and for the neck width, I had about 2.5 inches as well. So after I was done with this, I went ahead to cut it out on my fabric and join the shoulders. I noticed that even the 2.5 inches on both sides didn't stay perfectly on my neck. So I went ahead to stitch it down a little bit on the shoulders again, and that was when I had a perfect neckline. So the measurement that finally gave me the perfect look was 2.5 inches for my neck width and 2 inches for my neck depth. That's for the front measurement. And then for the back, I used 2.5 inches for my neck width and 0.5 inch for my neck depth. So that gave me a perfect neckline for someone small like me. Now, there are people that measurement will not work for. In fact, it will not work for a lot of people. So I advise you practice the neckline first on a scrap piece of fabric. Know exactly what measurement will work for you before you go ahead and draft out your pattern. Now that we already know what to do with the neckline, let's go ahead and cut out the band. So for the band, you will need a tiny piece of pattern paper like I have here. Once you have that, go ahead and draw a straight line across one edge, just like I've done here. And then go ahead and mark the middle point of this line. So now you're going to bring the neckline of your dress. By the time you're thinking of putting a band, you must have fixed your zipper and stitched the shoulders. So from the center of the neckline, I'm going to measure the back neckline. So I'll measure from the center back to the shoulders. And whatever measurement you have there, mark it from the center point you had there towards this side. So I'm going to label this area B for the back. So now for the front neckline, I'm going to pick the shoulder to shoulders and place them together. And from the center in front, I'm going to measure to the shoulder. So whatever you have there, mark from the center again towards the other side of your paper. So this area I'll label front with F. So once you're done with this, on the area labeled F, go up by 0.5 inch like I've done here, and I'm going to connect it to meet the center point. Make sure to use a curve to do this. So now once you're through with this, you're going to determine the height of your collar. Now, it depends on how high you want it to be. For me, I used 1.25 inch. So I marked this from the curve that I had before. So I am slanting my tape in a little bit. I don't want this to be a straight line. So I went up by 1.25 inch and connected to meet my curve. Now from the center line, I went up by 1.25 inch as well. You can decide to go up by 1.25 inch on the back without making it slanted at all. But I decided to slant it by 1/4 inch. So first I went up by 1/4 inch, which I'm trying to connect to the center right now. So now you have a curve on the front and back neckline area, but the one in front is higher. Now from this new curve, I'm still going to go up by the same 1.25 inch like I did on all the other points, and I'm going to connect it up like this. So now I'm going to create a curve to give me like a C shape. So I'll connect from the front neckline to meet the point I had in the middle, And then from the point I had in the middle, I'll connect to the back neckline. I actually hope that you understand what I'm trying to explain. So once you're done, you should have something looking like this, and this is the collar. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So I'm just going to make 2 strokes here at the area that is going towards the upper part so that I don't make any mistakes later. Now I'm going to fold the piece of lace that I want to use for the neckline into 4, and I'm going to be placing the center part of my neckline exactly on this folded edge. So I'm going to go ahead and pin it down here, and then I'll pin the other parts of the band down as well. Once you're done pinning it down, just go ahead and cut it out all the way around, giving some stitching allowances around. So guys, this is it. We're done cutting out the band now. I'm going to go ahead and remove my pattern paper and pins, and then it's going to look like this when you're done. So you're going to have 2. One is going to be serving as lining, but since they're the same fabric, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to place the 2 of them right sides facing each other, and I'm going to stitch all the way around these 3 areas here except the bottom. I'm done stitching it around now, and I'm just going ahead to cut off the excesses that I had around, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to the right side and iron it out. So this is what I had after I was done stitching it down, and I'm going to pin this around the neckline. So I'll pin one side first and then use the other side to cover it up and make a top stitch. So you're going to pin first all the way around. Just one part of your band is what you'll be pinning to the neckline, like I'm doing here. So just pin one part first. So this is what you should have. This is what you should have when you're done, so you can see. Let me spread this out so that you guys can see it. So like I said, only one side of the band should be pinned with the actual fabric for now. So what I intend to do is to use the other part that I've not pinned down to cover the front to make it look very neat. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a straight stitch on the areas that I've pinned around the neckline, and we'll come back and work on the second part. So I've made the first stitch on the collar, and this is what it looks like. The dress is so red that you can barely tell the difference. But once you're done, go ahead and cut off the excess zipper you have at the back of the neckline, okay? And now you're going to use the remaining part of the band to cover up the areas that you will have rough around the neckline. I really hope that you guys understand me. So I'm folding the band in by about 1/4 of an inch as I go along, as I'm using the second piece of the band to cover it up and pin it down. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to do this until I get to the back as well. So from one part of the back through to the other part of the back. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't want to waste what's left. So this is what I had after pinning round the neckline with what I had left. So if you zip it up, you can already see how the band is staying perfectly. So this is what it should look like. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine now and make a top stitch on all the areas that I've pinned down. When you're making your top stitch on the sewing machine, you want to make sure to use a matching thread, because that's going to actually show in front, and you want to make sure that whatever thread you're using is not going to be easily noticeable. Make sure to use a matching thread. So this is what I had after I was done stitching down the neckline, and you can see how it looks very neat both on the inside and outside. So to finish up the band area of the back that I'm currently pinning down, I am going to use a hook and eye. I'm going to be using my hand needle and thread to just stitch this on the neckline, and that will be all for the making of this neckline. So in my next tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how to go about the full dress, Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find the video helpful. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. And if you're still here to subscribe, please hit on the subscribe button and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.